What's going on, Jerome's? A Minnesota off-season tradition unlike any other, besides the whole fake spring, which, by the way, we're going to get douched with snow this week. It's going to be not great. Or just looking forward to March when it's like 40. Beyond that is trying to figure out who the future franchise quarterback of the Vikings is going to be, trying to replace Kirk Cousins. Right, so every single year, it's like this is the year the Vikings need to draft a quarterback in the first round. But it's always if you do that, you take away resources from another position of need and blah, 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 blah. That'll thing. Even though, like I said, I'm a team draft a quarterback every other year. They're extremely valuable. And guess what? If you get a reputation of developing quarterbacks within your system, you can trade them off as very valuable trade pieces. Andy Reid, the Eagles, did this for a number of seasons. Belichick and the Patriots did for a number of years as well. And you can draft a quarterback even though Kirk Cousins had the best year of his career in his first season with Kevin O'Connell. Yes. And Sports Illustrated's Monday Morning Quarterback, Albert Breer, he agrees. So, and he did up a mailbag a couple days ago, and the question he got was about Kirk Cousins and looking for the quarterback of the future, blah, blah, blah. Jumping to the point here, Minnesota's been here before. Recently had Justin Fields slip to where the team was initially picking in 2021, number 14, before dealing down and taking Darisaw. The now Bears quarterback would have been a serious consideration. So he's talking about the 2021 NFL draft where, but the Vikings were interested in Justin Fields. Now, the Bears traded up to number 11 with the Giants to take Justin Fields. And there have been some rumors and speculation, innuendo, that the Vikings had called the Panthers at 8. They had called the Giants at 11 and potentially looked at trading. I don't think Spielman was fully in because what the Bears gave up to acquire Fields, the Vikings could have matched that and more with draft capital in 2021. So no, I think it's fictitious that the Vikings the Vikings were in on Fields, except they came up short and the Bears won. Now, if the Vikings wanted Fields, they would have had Fields, but whatever. And then it continues. So if, say, Florida's Anthony Richardson were to fall into their laps in 23, it's easy for me to see the Vikings seeing a raw prospect who could develop for a year behind Cousins and wind up being a monster for them in a few years down the line. Physically, he's off the charts. So Fields, so Breer's basically saying that, hey, if the situation comes up, the Vikings could and should be in at quarterback. Now, Kevin O'Connell and Kwesi, they have their chance to draft and bring in their own guy. Now, they had Kellen Mond last year. They gave it a shot. It wasn't working out. But with Kirk Cousins, he can't play forever. And bringing in your own quarterback of the future that Kevin O'Connell can tear down and rebuild up from the studs, I think would make a lot of sense here. But the problem is the Vikings at 23 are in a little bit of no man's land. Now, I think it's pie in the sky stuff that Richardson falls to 23. I think it's very unlikely he even falls out of the top 10. I think with the quarterback tax and demand and need, I think that 4 quarterbacks will go in the top 10 in this draft. I think Young is quarterback 1, love me some Stroud, Levis, and Richardson. Their ceiling it really is unlimited. I think Levis's floor is a little bit higher than Richardson's, but it sort of is what it is. And then you have the second tier of quarterbacks come off the board. You have Hendon Hooker, you have Tanner McKee, you have Jaron Hall. Also, a guy like Jake Haener could work his way into that area where, not first round guys, but maybe mid to high day 2, where the Vikings, of course, only have one pick in the third round, 87, no second round pick, so it could be a spot where they maneuver to secure one of those guys. But I don't know, like I said, I think it's a spot where a quarterback needy team trades up with the Bears at 1, probably takes Bryce Young. The Texans at 2 are definitely taking a quarterback, or at least they should be looking into. I think the Colts could be that team that trades up for a QB. You look at the Raiders, you look at the Falcons, you look at the Panthers, all 3 of them could be interested in quarterbacks. So there could be a little bit of trading. Like, hell, I think it's possible that all 4 of the quarterbacks are gone in the top 8 picks. Because I think the quarterback goes 1, 2. I think that 2 of the quarterbacks, probably Richardson and Levis, will fall in between the 4 and 8 picks. So it's more of a question of, do the Vikings see enough value in trading up? Because, I mean, there still is a lot of draft season to go, and there's usually nothing that's going to shake some of these guys out of where they currently are, because they'll do fine at the combine. Well, hell, I think Richardson and Levis especially are going to blow up the combine. I think they'll blow up the pro days, and I think they'll be good to go. I think Levis has a chance to be QB1 in this class if we're talking about potential, because I think that Bryce Young is literally 5'9". Like, I want to say that I'm as tall as Bryce Young. I don't buy that 6 foot, $194. Get out of here. Bryce Young's gonna be 5'9.5" and $188. That's what's going to happen, man. But Stroud is solid. I love me some CJ Stroud. I think that he is the safest pick in this draft. Levis has a high ceiling. Anthony Richardson's potential is unlimited. So I think that the fact that Levis and Richardson, probably even Stroud, are going to blow up the combine and their pro days, I think that this is only going to drive their value higher. But, I mean, this could be like a very rare occasion, like maybe Richardson or maybe a Levis or maybe a Stroud does fall into the early teens. Do the Vikings trade up and make a move? It's possible. Or does Kwesi see enough value where you look at the stupid Lions at 6 or the Raiders at 7? Say the Raiders, well, if the Raiders trade for Aaron Rodgers, 7 is probably involved, but say that the Packers or whoever or the Falcons are going in a different direction. Maybe they trade and sign Lamar Jackson. Maybe the Panthers go in a different direction at quarterback. So if one of the quarterbacks is available in the top 10, do the Vikings make a move there? And that would be seen as even more aggressive, because not only are you just sinking your first-round pick into the quarterback position, you're trading up, and you're giving up future draft capital, probably at least a future one, to move up from 24 into the top 10 to go get your guy, and then you have him sit a year and then take over for Kirk Cousins. Then you have that Mahomes and Alex Smith dynamic going on. So we'll see. Again, personally, I don't see any of the top 4 quarterbacks falling to the Vikings' lap at 23. I think it's more of a question if the Vikings move up to get one of the big 4, if they fall into a spot where the Vikings figure the juice is worth the squeeze. Or do the Vikings maneuver in day 2? Because I don't think that Hooker or Hall or McKee or whoever is going to last till 87. So, I mean, do they move up to late back into the second round or the top of the third round to get Hendon Hooker or Tanner McKee or Jake Haener or whoever? All right, so we'll see. It's a spot where I don't think the Vikings can just stick and pick a quarterback if they really want the guy that they want. So they'll have to make a move. And like I said, Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi, they haven't had a chance to take their guy and fully develop him, and it's something that could be in the cards, I guess. But again, we'll see what happens. But your thoughts are thoughts. Albert Breer of Sports Illustrated thinks that the Vikings could consider a first-round quarterback. Maybe they should. Let us know your thoughts, our thoughts, and his thoughts in the comment section below. Subscribe for daily Vikings takes. Want to support the work? Put a little something in the Venmo. But till next time, Skull Production Value.